Some people asked me what build I was using in the farming videos. So I'm going to go through the build with you because it worked out better than I expected and it's fun to play. I posted the build information in the show notes and also my projected build for level 50. I'm currently 39. It's Rogue and Earth, which is a magician. I played this combination before as a caster, but this time I went melee and bow and it actually worked out better. I tried some skills that weren't working out and had to respec some things. And it still probably needs a little tweaking, but it's pretty solid at the moment. I made it through Typhon without any deaths, and I farmed him about 10 more times. Now keep in mind, I did a lot of farming, so I had good gear, and I leveled up to 38 by the time I reached Typhon, so that certainly made things easy. Throwing knives are the main feature of this build, and even though they were nerfed, they still performed well. Poison is more effective now that undead absorb 70% of the poison damage instead of being fully resistant. Let's look at the skill point allocations. I took off plus skills items to see actual points spent. Calculated strike and lucky hit are my left click weapon attack. I only invested 3 points here because knives and poison will be my main sources of damage. Without knives, I would have maxed these out. Lethal strike and mortal wound. Just 1 point each because I don't use it very often, but it still provides good damage if I need it. 4 points in throwing knives. These used to have a 100% chance to pass through enemies. They nerfed them to a 10% chance to pass through. Too drastic of a change in my opinion. Flurry of knives, 6 points. This is the more important part of the skill. It adds more knives. At 6 points you get 5 total knives, but you gain 1 extra knife for each point over the cap for a maximum of 9 knives. So you really want plus skills items to fully benefit the knives. Disarm Traps. This is actually useful now that it works on constructs as well as traps. 1 point here for now. Lay Trap. These can add to your damage per second, but they also work as a distraction and mob locator. I spent 7 points here to raise their hit points. More will be needed here soon. Rapid Construction. Reduces recharge and energy cost. 1 point here is fine. Improved Firing Mechanism. Increases piercing damage, chance to pass through, and the number of projectiles. 7 points. And Venom Weapon, 2 points. This adds poison damage to your weapon attacks and throwing knives. Nightshade increases poison damage and slows enemies, although I'm not so sure the slow is working properly. Toxic Distillation increases poison damage and duration. This also affects Poison Gas Bomb, 2 points. Mandrake, this may be the most important part of Envenom Weapon. Chance to fumble attacks and cause confusion. The chance of confusion was lowered in Anniversary Edition, 4 points. Here. Flash Powder. This is a great defensive skill. High chances of fumble and confusion, 5 points. Poison Gas Bomb. High poison damage and slow. I find this to be much more useful in Anniversary Edition, as it works fairly well on undead now. 5 points here. Shrapnel adds bleeding and piercing damage to Poison Gas Bomb. 6 points. Not much in the Earth Tree. Earth Enchantment, 2 points in the base skill, and 7 in Brimstone for the burn over time. Earth Enchantment supplements the damage of your throwing knives. Many monsters are immune or highly resistant to piercing, bleeding, and poison, so the fire damage helps out against them. My intention was to use Ring of Flame and Soften Metal, but the energy cost was insane. It drained faster than my regen. That's something they need to look into. I also used the Core Dweller for a while, but the point cost was too high to get to Metamorphosis, so I switched to Traps. I spent 20 points in the Mastery, which turned out to be more than I needed. You could spend some of those points elsewhere. I put most of my attribute points evenly into strength and dexterity. You will gain more dexterity than strength from the masteries, so your dex will be higher than your strength, which I think is about right for this build. I also put a few points into health and energy. My resistances aren't that high, but I do carry resistance items if I need something specific. So that's the build. It's a fun character to play. You're not a tank, but you're not made of glass either. I forgot to mention that the fire and burn damage from Earth Enchantment also affect your traps, as long as you're in range. I'll close out with some gameplay clips to show how well the combination of knives and poison gas bomb work together.